All right, good morning, everyone. The Zoom room is filling up. As always, we invite you to let us know who you are and where you're Zooming in from for this morning's coffee hour presented by the Penn State Alumni Association. We would love to welcome you in and see those pop up in the chat. Let us know who you are and where you're Zooming in from today. We have a great program lined up. We're talking with Kate Eckman. She's a leadership development and performance coach. She's a TV personality and broadcast journalist and the author of The Full Spirit Workout. So we're going to dive into her new book that is out on the market and dive into what the concept of inner fitness and what that's all about. I see Lynn Marie DiCarlo from New Milford, New Jersey. Good morning, Lynn Marie. If you're also joining us on Facebook Live, I see we are out there now streaming on Facebook. Go ahead and let us know who you are and where you're watching from this morning. We're going to talk with Kate Eckman, a leadership development and performance coach. You might see her on TV as a broadcast journalist. She is also the author of The Full Spirit Workout. We're going to dive into our conversation here in just a minute. Thanks for joining the Penn State Alumni Association's Coffee Hour. Again, the Zoom room is filling up. Good to see so many familiar names, people joining us this morning. We'll be getting started here in just a minute or two. Thanks for joining us. Again, let us know who you are and where you're Zooming in from. We'd love to welcome you. Where else would you rather be than a Zoom full of Penn Staters? I'm Paul Clifford, CEO of the Penn State Alumni Association, and welcome to the Alumni Association's Coffee Hour. Each week on Coffee Hour, you can expect to hear the voices of Penn Staters talking about what they're passionate about, and you can expect to feel the pride and the power of the Penn State Network. We're recording this session and closed captions are available for this event. You can find that information in the chat in Zoom or in the comments on Facebook. Well, today we're talking with Kate Eckman. She is the author of The Full Spirit Workout, a 10-step system to shed your self-doubt, strengthen your spiritual core, and create a fun and fulfilling life. She is a broadcast journalist and TV personality who brings her expertise in communications, performance, and mindfulness to her practice as a success coach for business leaders and professional athletes. She earned a BA in communications from Penn State, where she was an academic All-American swimmer, and received her master's in broadcast journalism from Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism. She graduated at the highest level from Columbia University's Executive and Organizational Coaching Program. She's a certified ICF coach, a licensed NBI consultant. She's passionate about mindfulness practices, both for the brain and body health. She's also a meditation teacher and a course creator for Insight Timer, the world's #1 ranked free meditation app. You can visit her online at Kate Eckman TV or at thefullspiritworkout.com. Please welcome Kate Eckman into Coffee Hour. Kate, how are you this morning?
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you here on Coffee Hour. Where are you joining us from this morning?
From New York City.
All right. Well, we're going to get into our conversation. I'm going to incorporate New York City a little bit later into some of the questions that I have for you. I see Steve Held, class of 78, Zooming in from New York City. Paul McConaughey from Cape Cod, welcome into the Coffee Hour. Let's start right at the very beginning, though. How did you become a Penn State Nittany Lion?
Well, I was actually all ready to go to UNC Chapel Hill, where my brother was a student. And as you know, if you've been there, it's a gorgeous campus. But I went on my recruiting trip to Penn State. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I have two Ohio State alumni parents. Definitely didn't want to go to Ohio State, though. I say that with love. But I got a recruiting letter from the swim coach at Penn State. I always heard such lovely things about the university, went on my trip and just completely fell in love, as we all did. It's such a magical place. It just felt so down to earth and real. And that was the beginning of the end. I guess just I even to say no to a place like UNC, that's also a gorgeous place. But there's just something about Penn State. I loved the swim team, not to sound like a total nerd, but the the women's swim team had the highest cumulative GPA in all of Division I sports.
Wow.
And that really sold it for me, because unless you're Michael Phelps, there really isn't professional swimming. And I'm at Penn State to get an education first and foremost. So I really like that I could be an athlete, but that student comes before the athlete. And it was just, I mean, come on, I'm talking to Penn Staters. So
Absolutely.
it's like, come on. And it's fun saying that too, after, going to other schools like Northwestern and Columbia, fantastic institutions, but even being on those campuses that are so lovely, I always think I'm so glad I chose Penn State for undergrad.
Well, we can't see the audience, but I know Jamie Perry is on here, and he's probably has the smile as big as he can smile when he hears you talking about the academic side. Obviously, Jamie from being your advisor in the Belisario College of Communications, a great friend of the Alumni Association. Good to see his name pop up in the chat on Zoom here. You mentioned your time in the pool while you were at Penn State. What are some of the things that you were involved in, maybe outside of the pool?
What a great question. You're almost stumping me there, because swimming really was my life. I think we got a lot of love. It was funny because I had a neck injury at one point, and I would go to the football training room after practice, and I'd show up there at 7 a.m. after already being in the pool for 2 hours. And the football players who got all the love on campus were just like, you swimmers are no joke. Much respect to you. You have to be a little insane to be a swimmer. So quite frankly, my whole life was swimming and training. I did have fun, going out to the parties and things like that. And I love also about Penn State, I was friends with all the athletics teams, and had so many friends who were student athletes. We all got a lot. It was just such a wonderful community. So I did enjoy those type of friendships, took some road trips here and there. But again, swimming, you are kind of on lockdown. It's just when everyone's on spring break, you're at swim practice. When everyone's at Christmas holiday, you're at swim practice. So I'm thankful for that, though, because it gave me the discipline to really do anything I want in my career. I really have that strong work ethic.
So I married a college swimmer. I played football as an undergrad where I went for my undergraduate experience. And you're exactly right. We, as football players, we complain about 2-a-day practices, right? That's the life of a swimmer. You practice twice every day. I know she would get up 5 in the morning and have to be up at the pool by 6 to do the morning workouts. You're right. It's no joke, and it's an unbelievable commitment to be a swimmer. What are some of your favorite memories from competing for the Nittany Lions, or maybe some of those great road trips, or some of the friendships that you made while here at Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, the camaraderie that you build is just incredible with both the women's team and the men's team. I loved that Sue Paterno was an avid swimmer, and we would save a lane for her. There's 2 pools at the Nat, as you know, but the men would be in one, the women's team would be in one. But we always saved a lane for Supa, because she would be in there at 5 a.m. and she loved our swim team and was so supportive and always put together care packages for us. And I think that's the most press the swim team ever got, was when Joe would come to our swim meets. So I'm like, whatever it takes. No one cares about swimming. We get it. But that's why it's fun with the Olympics coming up. I feel like it really amplifies the sport. I feel like swimming has gotten a lot more cred in the past, I don't know, 10 years or something, especially with the Michael Phelps really elevated the sport in a really positive way, I think. And now speaking so openly about mental health and mental health struggles, which I really respect him for. But I think just there is something so powerful about being a student athlete and representing your school with such pride. I love the Big Ten championships. I even think of my very first meet was at University of Minnesota. I feel like
Yeah.
we almost died getting there. It was a horrible, I'm laughing now, but it was a horrible plane ride with inclement weather. And it was just like, oh gosh, I hope we make it. And my first event, I'm next to the Olympic bronze medalist, Olga Splikanova from Russia. And I thought, oh, wow, what a way to start my career. But just even memories like that, or this contract, we had to go to Purdue and it was snowing. We thought, oh, yay, we don't have to go. We get the weekend off. They're like, oh, our flight's canceled. We're taking a bus. And just, busing with our teammates all through that weather, getting in at 4 a.m., having a 9 a.m. meet because we were going to the football game after Penn State was at Purdue. But those are the memories that just makes you tough. It makes you just really appreciate being in the moment. And that's what I love about sport. You have to be so present. And it's just a life lesson that I've carried on to every aspect of my life. I've got Kobe Bryant's Mamba mentality behind me. And that's my favorite thing about Kobe Bryant is his ability to just block out all the noise and focus on the task at hand.
Uh, so we're talking about swimming. Talk about your events. What were the events that you competed in?
Yeah, so I swam mid-distance freestyle, so 200, 500 free, breaststroke, and 200 IM. My favorite event was 200 IM. I like swimming all the strokes.
You're crazy. 200, the 200 and 400 IM are the toughest are the toughest events in a collegiate swim meet. So that's what my wife swam, and yeah, just not an easy couple minutes in the pool.
I know. I look back, I feel like it was my former self or even a sister or relative when because I don't swim anymore. And I look back and I feel like a cat with 9 lives. And that just feels like a whole different lifetime ago. Or, I went back to Penn State and stopped by the Nat and I'm looking at the physiques and I'm like, man, I took it for granted how fit I was. And it's
Right.
it was, swimmers are, the male swimmers are like Greek gods. And I wish I would have appreciated it a bit more back then.
Absolutely. This is the Penn State Alumni Association's Coffee Hour. I'm Paul Clifford. I'm joined this morning by Kate Eckman. She's a leadership development and performance coach, a TV personality, and broadcast journalist. She's also the author of The Full Spirit Workout. So we're going to get to that in just a minute. But you graduate from Penn State. Walk us through your professional career after graduating. We know you spent some time at Northwestern and then Columbia, but walk us through that time in your life.
Yeah, I have a very backwards, all over the place career. And I think that's just a testament to you can change your mind. You can do many things. We're multidimensional beings. You don't have to be one thing. Don't ever let anyone put you in a box. And if you feel that you've outgrown a job, a city, a career, anything, please move on and do what really lights you up and makes you happy. I feel like it's our duty to really use our gifts and strengths in that way to energize not just ourselves, but the people around us. So as soon as I graduated, I actually moved to LA and I worked as an entertainment reporter for Hollywood.com and interviewed some of the biggest names in the world, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, and it was great. It was cool. I met everyone and their mother in that world, but there was something that got a little unfulfilling about it. Again, that's so many people's dream job. I was appreciative of it, but I wanted something with more substance. So I actually left that career and moved to Chicago and got my master's at Northwestern in broadcast journalism. And so I went from Hollywood red carpets to the Cook County court system. And in particular, I really covered the juvenile court system. I did so many social justice stories, work with judges to help make conditions better for troubled youth, and learning how many kids were just passed through the school system, would graduate high school and couldn't even read. So I actually enjoyed that more than the glitz and glam of Hollywood. So that really just showed me that for me, social justice and reporting on topics with a little bit more meat and substance was really fulfilling to me. And then I just, moved around the country working as a local news anchor and reporter. And, I was doing politics in DC. When I was in Chicago, one of my favorite moments was interviewing at that time, Senator Barack Obama. And I remember just calling my mom afterwards and saying, wow, this guy is just, I mean, he's so good on camera too, and just delivers the sound bites, but just such a well-spoken man. So I think he even just showed me how to, that's how you got to speak, to just keep it moving. So that was a really a career highlight just as a younger student, and moved on to Florida and did a lot of issues with the wildlife. And when the economy kind of tanked, 2008, I moved to Africa and worked as a journalist for Travel Africa magazine. And that was an extraordinary experience. And I didn't have a rich American safari experience. I was living in the bush with not the best conditions. It really, I talk about it in my book, it was really stretching my comfort zone, which is step one. And I really think it's important that we challenge ourselves in these ways and do things. All my colleagues and people couldn't believe when I left the TV news business, because so many people want to do it and work so hard to get there. But I just took a risk, and I'm glad that I did. And when I got back from Africa, I moved to New York City for a TV job that fell through, I think 2 weeks after I got there. So I'm in the most expensive city with no job. I got some freelance journalism gigs. If anyone's in journalism, print journalism, knows it doesn't pay that well. So I had to use my broadcasting skills, my journalism skills, and do a lot of research. And I discovered I had, the right physicality to work as a model, what the industry calls a plus size model, because I'm larger than a size 6, which people find horrifying and absurd. That's the fashion business. And so that was really a way for me to make the money so I could still do all of my other projects. And I really learned a lot about myself, brought up all my insecurities. As you can imagine, a career where people are zeroing in on your looks and judging you based on your parents' genetics and their opinion of your parents' genetics, it can be a little disheartening at times. So that's when I got into being a QVC host, which is in the Penn State area. It's outside of Philadelphia and Westchester. So then I was, selling beauty products all over the world, and that was fun. And I then, in the midst of that, I had massive wake up calls. I lost my ex-boyfriend and a best friend to suicide in 1 year, and that just exploded my world, as you can imagine. And that's when I, went back to school and got my master's degree in coaching and several certifications in the mental health and mindfulness space, and really wanted to come up with the tools for a better way of living. I think we all know how important physical fitness is, but we spend a lot less time on our attitudinal muscles, our mental, emotional, spiritual muscles. And I really wanted to come up with the keys for a better way of living for all of us, because when I looked around, I see how much everyone is struggling in some way. And there's this misconception that if you look a certain way, if you make a certain amount of money, you have this, you have that you're not struggling. And especially with the people I work with who are millionaires, billionaires, professional athletes, they're all struggling.
Right.
And mostly with confidence. Whatever that is. And so most people are quite skilled at their job, perhaps, but it's all the stuff behind the scenes. So that's what the book is all about, and really just combined all of the research, all of my life experience, and my life as a journalist into a tool that can really help people.
Well, let's dive into that. First, help us understand inner fitness. You touched on it a little bit. You touched on your admiration for Michael Phelps and sharing his struggle with mental health. How would you define inner fitness?
So I think inner fitness, or, the full spirit workout, is a play on the full body workout that you often hear advertised at the gym, but it's also about bringing your full spirit, your authentic truth and power, your passion, your presence to everything you do and to everyone you meet. It really is having the courage to be who you are, not just the polished, put together person we present to the world, but that messy person behind the scenes, just trying to keep it all together. That person is lovable and relatable and authentic. And I think the sooner we can all just embrace that, and embrace that none of us have it all together, and have a bit more grace and compassion for ourselves, the better. And that's really what inner fitness is.
So if I go to the gym, which I don't, but if I were to go to the gym, right, and my goal was to have legs like Saquon Barkley, right? I would go in and I'd find the leg machines and I would do the squats, right? When we're talking about inner fitness, how does one identify the muscles that that need the most work?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think you have to, really spend some time alone. I call this my sit and stare time. And this is where you do exactly what it says. You sit quietly in a room alone, which that in itself is terrifying for some people. I think everyone got a little bit of that this past year and a half, but maybe not, because everyone puts on all their distractions and devices and no one wants to sit quietly in a room alone. But that's when you can really listen to the divine wisdom that's always available to us. I'm not talking about the ego mind who tells us we're not good enough. Why'd you say that dumb thing? You're not cute enough, smart enough, whatever. I'm not talking about that voice. That's all the lies. I'm talking about the voice that reminds you how powerful you are. And so that's the voice that gives you that guidance, like, hey, why don't you reach out to Paul and collaborate with him on this project? Or why don't you send an email to so and so? You get that divine guidance. And some people call it God, intuition, spirit, universe, nature. I have a friend who doesn't believe in God, but he says, I believe in nature and the divine wisdom that turns an acorn into an oak tree, for instance. It's always working behind the scenes, whether we choose to believe it or not. I choose to believe because I'd rather co-create with a very powerful force than try to go it alone. But I think with inner fitness, it isn't about the hustle and grind or doing the Saquon Barkley 5,000 pound squats, weighted squats. It's more about stillness and non-reactivity and going within. It is so simple. I'm not saying it's easy. It's simple, but a lot of people have resistance to it because it is uncomfortable and it's extremely counterintuitive in our society that says, no, you need to go, do all of this stuff. We need that time, that inner time to just go within and be quiet, quite frankly.
So, how did part of the origin story of the Full Spirit workout actually started here at Penn State while you were a swimmer. How did your swimming career inspire the Full Spirit workout?
Yeah, and I think it even goes back a bit further. My mom put me in swim lessons when I was 4 years old, and I didn't like it and didn't care much for my swim instructor either. And I overheard him after lessons one day communicating to my mom something that my 4-year-old self gathered was he didn't think I was a very good swimmer, and how heartbreaking it is that my adult self looking at this little 4-year-old who got this mentality that said, I need to perform at a really high level so that I feel safe in the world. And my mom and dad are proud of me. And I impress strangers at the swim club so I can feel loved and adored and don't feel rejected. And so on the one hand, it made me a very determined, disciplined person and broke all the records at that swim club. I'll show that guy. But at what cost? I was filled with anxiety and insecurity and self-doubt because I had this obsession with performance and this mentality, that I learned where when we place our worth outside of ourselves, we can never have enough or be enough. We're on this insatiable quest, the hamster on the wheel. And so it really did. And writing this book and that story I told leads off step 3. And I had to get really clear writing this, because we have these limiting beliefs and most of them come from childhood. We hear a comment at the swim club, our parents say something, and we go about our lives collecting evidence for why that false belief, that limiting belief is true. So we really have to delete that, like you do the corrupt file on the computer, drag it to the trash, and then co-create and come up with a new thought system, mantra, or belief for yourself.
So you mentioned a couple of the steps in the Full Spirit workout. Can you take us through what a workout looks like, or kind of the 10 steps in the book?
I mean, the good thing about the book is that it's directional. It's not linear, and it starts off just like a physical workout with stretching. You're stretching your comfort zone. But I think the thing that readers are really enjoying about the book is it's a fun and easy read. I have people. My uncle is 85. He says, I never read books. I can never get through it. He said, I read your whole book cover to cover in 2 days. And I've had a lot of non-readers even saying that to me. And fun is in the subtitle. I wanted to make this book fun, just like physical exercise. If it's fun, you keep doing it. If it's daunting, you're like, forget this, And so it is a program that it is combining research and neuroscience, positive psychology, whole person coaching techniques that I learned at Columbia, and also with the personal antidotes, and I have journaling exercises in each chapter. It's so important we get all of that gunk out of our head onto the sheet, brings us clarity. I have meditations in each chapter. They're also recorded on my website for free, so you can listen, take that journey of self-discovery. I know not everyone can afford executive coaching. So each step I have the Coach Kate check-ins. I'm asking you the questions I ask myself and my clients to really get underneath the hood of the car and discover who you really are. Not the package, again, that we present to the world, but really getting to the core of who we are and discovering what we really want. Not what we want. What we want is often what mom and dad think, what society says, what the neighbors or friends are doing, but what we really want, and getting that clarity and the tools to really, actualize your full potential. And then each step ends with an affirmation and really grounding that I am statement into your body. I had a man a few weeks ago say, the affirmations alone are worth its weight in gold. I've bookmarked each of them, and I just read an affirmation every day. And it's just, we have to train our minds just like our bodies. And when you're, think of it like junk food. Junk food is, you got the TV on, and even if you're not paying attention, your subconscious mind is receiving so many images and messages that say you're not good enough, you don't add up, you need these 8,000 products that you can't afford. So it really is turning off the noise and tuning into the truth and really reminding yourself of your own power.
Absolutely. Great stuff there. I know we're putting in the chat information, how people can get a copy of your book. Go ahead and look in the chat and click on that link, and you too can pick yourself up a copy of the Full Spirit Workout. You talked a little bit about the number one thing that your clients struggle with, regardless of where they are in terms of what they've achieved in their career, is confidence and being more confident. Right. And I think kind of the opposite of confidence is anxiety, right? So how can we be less anxious and more confident in our day-to-day?
Yeah, so I did research around leveraging confidence to accelerate leadership development because I was seeing the horrible effects of poor leadership all around me. I'm sure we've all seen that in organizations or even families, government, wherever. And so I came up with my 5 Ps based on my research, and it's presence, patience, purpose, preparation, and practice. Because I love you guys, I'll give you 2 bonus Ps. It's pause and person, as in be a person. And I'll quickly go through them because I know we don't have hours, but presence, it's showing up like you mean it, like you've got something to say, here we go. And being present with whomever you're with and the task at hand, even if it's just yourself, turning off the distractions. Patience, one of my favorite stories to illustrate patience is 20 years ago, country singer Shelby Lynn won Best New Artist at the Grammys. This is the only speech I've ever remembered in all the years of watching. And when she accepted her award, she said, "Oh, Best New Artist, it's only taken me 13 years and 6 albums to get here." And I laughed out loud, and she was a little snarky and, even just said, for me, it's always been all about the music, meaning she didn't get the recognition for so long. She didn't sell out or do it a certain way to get the notoriety. She really stuck to what was true for her and trusted in the process. So, the word patience stems from the Latin word for suffering. So I know how much it hurts when you're waiting for the thing you want. We want what we want right now, but really trust in yourself in the process, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just believe in the divine timing of all of it. Purpose is your why. Why is this important to you? Why now? So many people share goals with me and I say, great. Why is this important to you? And the answers are a little, for my book, for instance, I dedicated it to Sam and Rolf, who I lost to suicide, and they are my why. They kept me going when it was really hard. I was exhausted. I was triggered. I had emotional hangovers all the time. They kept me going. And everyone who struggles with mental health, which I've discovered really is everyone. Everyone struggles with mental health. So have a really strong why. It'll keep you going. Preparation, when we're prepared, we're building better behaviors that lead to better habits, that lead to increased results, boosts our confidence. Practice, every time I talk about practice to groups, Tom Brady comes to mind. We were both Big Ten athletes at the same time, and he's still winning Super Bowls, and my knees hurt when I go to Pilates. So I bow down to you, Tom Brady, but it's because he practices harder than anyone. Our talent merits investment. There's no, I have a six pack. I know I never have to go to the gym again. I've never had one, so I wouldn't know, but I can imagine you reach that level of fitness. You're Saquon Barkley. He's training harder than anyone. So put in the reps. You can't just show up at the gym in your cute outfit. You got to sweat, right? Your personal trainer can't do your sit-ups or push-ups for you. Pause is really spiritual fitness and practice, because it's taking a beat, taking a moment before you respond to the upsetting email. You really want to tell the jerk they're being a jerk, but you're like, ooh, that could ruin the relationship forever. Take a pause. Take a pause, take a breath. In person, my speaking coach, Eduardo, says this to me all the time, and it makes me laugh. He's like, just be a freaking person, because I have struggled with perfectionism and obsession with performance. He's like, just be a freaking person and really embrace your humanity. And even I did a live TV interview the other day. I was exhausted. It was a fill-in host who was kind of talking like this. I don't know. I felt off of my game. And at the end, I was telling her about the 5 Ps. And when we were off air, I'm like, man, I was stumbling on my words there. She's like, yeah, you're just being a person. It was great. So she kind of called me out. I'm like, because my inner perfectionist was like, you didn't nail that hit. And I'm like, oh, she's like, you're just being a person. It was amazing. So just be a person.
That's fantastic. This is the Penn State Alumni Association's Coffee Hour. I'm Paul Clifford. I'm joined this morning by Kate Eckman. She's the leadership development and performance coach. See, there I go, being a person as well.
Yeah.
She's also the author of The Full Spirit Workout. When we think of kind of physical fitness, right, the concept of metabolism plays a big part, right? How quickly do we burn calories, right? But you talk about mental metabolism in your book. Can you talk a little bit about that concept?
Sure. So what we eat and drink, as we all know, it's our energy that boosts or hinders our physical metabolism, and the same with our thoughts. So we need to boost our mental metabolism, and we do that by positive self-talk. And this is something I think we don't even realize that we're doing, that constant ruminating record in our head. You're not good enough. Why are you wearing that? You said a dumb whatever it is.
Right.
Start paying attention. Because as soon as you pay attention, you can identify these thoughts and delete them. I always ask myself, let's say I'm like, oh, I don't think Paul really likes me. He kind of gave me this weird look. So I would say, is that really true? I don't know. Are you for sure that it's true? No. How would you feel if that wasn't true? I'd feel good. I'd feel liberated. And so like asking ourselves that when stuff comes up, because it's all so silly and everyone's going through their own stuff. So 99% of it is never about us. It's about the other person. And I think just being mindful of all the times that we criticize or overlook or reject ourselves. We get so upset when other people don't see us or hear us or acknowledge us. But I think if we can be clear and honest with ourselves, we don't see, hear, or acknowledge ourselves. We criticize, overlook, and reject ourselves. So really cleaning that up. And then you'll find you'll just start attracting, people who really see you and support you and genuinely love you. So, we like attracts like, so it really is important that we clean up our side of the street, but that's a great way to boost your mental metabolism and have a lot more energy and have that really fit mind.
I've heard someone describe that as property management, right? We manage, if you're a homeowner, right, you make sure that your home is clean, you make sure that your lawn is cut, right? You're out there working in your yard and making sure that it looks just right? That you spend time on that property, but you neglect the 1 square foot of property between your ears, right? And that internal conversation that you're having with yourself on a day-to-day basis. And just think, if you spent as much time taking care of your yard or your house on your conversation internally, how much better that piece of property would look and feel. And that's how that's resonated with me. What are some things that people can do on a daily basis? You talked about the devotionals and the things at the end of each chapter that people can take a look at to start their day. What are some things that we can do on a daily basis to experience kind of more personal and professional fulfillment?
Yeah, I think we can take our spiritual vitamins. And one of my favorite projects that I did in researching this was on, the science of well-being. And it's a very popular course at Yale University that's online. I recommend it to everyone. And what the science says, and I didn't need this course to tell me what I've learned from my own personal experience, but it is nice when it's backed up with data. And what the studies show is that all the things we think are going to make us happy, our looks, the house, the car, the money, all of that stuff, all the shiny objects, it actually doesn't move the needle in our well-being. What moves the needle, which science has proven, my own life has proven, are things like sleep, exercise, time affluence, social connection, acts of kindness, acts of service, and my personal favorite, a gratitude visit. This is what I learned from Martin Seligman. He's the founder of positive psychology, works at UPenn, and he invited audience members at his TED Talk to think of someone who has changed their life for the better, who they've never properly thanked, and to write that person a 300-word gratitude letter, appreciation letter. Call them up, say you want to come over, don't tell them why, and read them this letter. I had to do it over Zoom because it was COVID. Even over Zoom. It was so powerful. I cried. I want to cry thinking about it. The other person cried. And you have this bond for life. And I think I get so emotional because when do we do this? At someone's funeral when they're gone. And it is so simple. And I still can't read this part of my book without crying. Look, I'm crying about it now because and what this friend means to me and what she's done for me and how she chooses to live her life in such an authentic way. And I think we go about our lives. I see it in organizations I work with all the time. It's like, how hard is it to tell your coworker, your spouse, your kids, your friend, whomever, the checkout person at the grocery store, thank you so much, I appreciate you, or give them a genuine compliment and start telling people what they mean to you now. I have a client who works in private equity. He got a 5-word text from his boss. I think it was something, you knocked it out of the park. Great job. He says, I look at this text every day. It lights me up. I'm sure it took his boss 2 seconds to write, probably, and it's just the fact or I sent an email to someone's assistant recently. I said, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And she said, I've been in business 30 years and no one has ever sent me an email that says, I appreciate you. And I think that's why I get so emotional. I think that's so sad. And we've become such a transactional society and we've lost the relational. And I think I'm glad I'm talking to Penn Staters because Penn State is such a relational community. There is so much love. So I think we can really lead the way in this movement. I do call it a movement. And, everyone's complaining about the state of the world and everyone's at odds. Let's just start doing these little appreciation, gratitude visits.
Yeah, I think what you're tapping into there is the benefit of giving, right? Certainly you want, when you're showing gratitude, right? It's about lifting the other person up, right? But that doesn't mean that there's not some personal benefit that you receive from also doing that, right? It's the good feeling that you do, whether it's through philanthropy or through gratitude. It's the benefit that the giver receives from giving. I think that's what you're tapping into here. We have some questions from folks in the audience. First question, they're looking for advice for those who are interested in specifically getting into sports broadcasting. So we touched on that a little bit earlier in the conversation and your career in broadcasting. What's some advice that you would give to aspiring sports broadcasters?
Yeah, I think if you don't go to journalism school, undergrad or grad, something that's really great and something I did in journalism school, I would go to high school basketball games and you cover the basketball game and you can, write up the story, you can submit it to local papers. And it was so fun and gratifying for me when, we submitted through the Medill News Service, our stories to local papers and to see your byline when your story gets picked up. And all these organizations are always looking for freelance writers or submissions. So, and in my case, I went to, just a little high school basketball game and Michael Jordan was there because I was in Winnetka outside, right in Evanston and Chicago. And That's where they live. And so, I didn't get paid a penny, but I was sitting across from Michael Jordan. So that was cool. So you just never know who you're going to find, or cover the college, cover a sports game at Penn State, and just start, beefing up your skills, but, take the classes. Even if it's not at university, I don't know where this person is and their career or study, but, show up at the games and write. A lot of people always say, I want to do this, or everyone and their mother tells me they want to write a book. And I'm like, if you really wanted to write a book, you'd be writing a book. So I think just be willing to put in the work, be willing to do it for free at first, and really start having fun with it. And then ask for feedback from professionals. People are always willing to mentor and teach and really help out, because we've all started somewhere. So I appreciated the people who helped me along the way. But with anything, just be willing to put yourself out there. As I like to say, dare to suck, be willing to not be great at first. That's me in dance class. Never going to be a great dancer, but I go because it's fun. And quite frankly, it's nice to be in a place where I'm never going to be trying to be the best or impress people. No, I'm never going to be good. But I go.
People want to know how they can get the job at ESPN, right? But they don't realize it starts 15 years earlier in that high school gym, right? And the hustle to get there. I think of the example of the country music singer that you used, right? Her to become the new artist on the scene took 13 years for her to become the new artist. And so there's that work that people don't see, that you put in until you make it. They only see it once you made it, right?
Absolutely. And have fun with it and really enjoy the journey. That's when you get to make your mistakes and learn and have fun and just trust in the process.
We talked off camera, but I think it's worth mentioning. Madison has a question here. Your work is based in academic research. Madison wants to know the extent, and if you ever work with academic researchers, or is this something is it something you're interested as part of your career?
I would absolutely love to collaborate with other academic researchers. That's the reason I chose Columbia for my coaching program. It's the only coaching program in the world that requires a massive research paper. It was so hard, so much work. I don't write that way. It was really challenging. Maybe it's easy for Madison. So I'd like to talk to you, Madison. And yeah, I'm always interested in teaming up with other people, or we're doing similar work because we can help each other. And the more research, the better. Maybe we're doing it in a different way. But I think research is so important. Everyone learns differently. And there are people, these are a lot of times accountants or, with a more analytical brain. They need data. If you don't show them the studies, they're like, I don't believe you, or I don't care your personal experience. So I do like to give something for everyone. But research is pretty liberating because you do have the data to back it up, and you learn so much. It just takes you out of your own bubble and your own personal world and thought system.
So you're doing a lot on your website with the training modules that you have out there. You're really active on Instagram. I know people over 15,000 followers on Instagram. You have the book. How can people find more information about the work that you're doing?
Sure. So you can just go to kateeckman.tv, KATEECKMAN.tv, like the tube you watch, or go to thefullspiritworkout.com. All the information on the book is there. It's also everywhere books are sold, online and in stores. I promise you, it's so fun. It is work, but it's fun work. And we're just building such a beautiful community together. And my hope and wish and goal is to really make spiritual fitness mainstream, just like physical fitness. And I know for a fact, everyone will feel better. Their relationships will improve. Their confidence will be boosted. You'll attract better people, experiences, opportunities. You won't have to try so hard. You'll naturally attract it. So I'd love to share this with this group. I love my Penn State family and community, and it's been so fun to connect with everyone here this morning.
Kate, we like to have a little bit of fun on the end of coffee hour, and we call it our lightning round. So I'm going to throw you some quick hitter questions, and you give me the first thing that pops into your mind. So you grew up in Cincinnati, spent time in Chicago and New York. Let's start. What's your favorite professional sports team?
Oh gosh, the thing that came instantly was the Cincinnati Bengals, but they're such a painful team to like.
It's been a rough couple decades for the Bengals.
Oh, oh.
How about your favorite class at Penn State?
Oh gosh, I loved my American Studies course and my positive psychology course. And my abnormal psych course. And I remember, they're filling in, but my
Sure,
abnormal
sure.
psych class I love because my instructor was this man, Chip, who I was obsessed with. And the first day of class, he was like, this is abnormal psych. And I'm a gay Black man teaching this course. And he was just like, it was a brilliant moment. I loved it.
So I said I was going to bring up New York City. You live in like the foodie capital of the world. So if you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be and why? And then where would you have it? Where would that dinner be in New York City?
Oh gosh, what a question. It feels like such a generic answer, but she's always been such a role model, not just professionally, but personally. I love Oprah Winfrey, the journalist. We're both unmarried, she just has the partner. So, no kids. So we just have a similar lifestyle, and I'd love to just pick her brain. I think she's one of the finest interviewers in the world. So I know it's kind of a generic answer, but I would take her to one of my 1,000 Italian favorite restaurants, maybe La Conda Verde and Tribeca. I'm like a wannabe Italian. I can't stop eating pizza and pasta.
So you've lived all over the country. You've traveled the world. What was your most unusual "we are" moment? Maybe a place where someone yelled out "we are" that caught you off guard or unexpected.
I think I was dating a gentleman who went to Yale undergrad and played football at Yale, and he took me to a game. And he must have told his friends that I went to Penn State, and so I'm at a Yale football game, and all these men are yelling "we are," and I'm like, Yale? I mean, it was really, and there was, I feel like 20 people at the football game. So it was the polar opposite of Penn
Right.
State. They knew it. I just along those lines, I have to share, when I was at Northwestern, I studied with a woman who went to Duke undergrad, and I met some of her friends who were swimmers at Duke. And she told them I was a swimmer, and they said, "Oh, you swim at Duke?" I said, "No, I swim at Penn State." And they said, "Oh, you swam at a real school. You're a real swimmer." And I just loved hearing that from Duke. I mean, they're a basketball school, but it was just nice having, and they have a certain reputation. It was nice having Duke athletes saying like, "Oh, Penn State's like the real athletes." It was funny.
That's amazing. A football game. If you're a football fan, though, watching a football game in the Yale Bowl is a great experience. It's if you haven't been there, it's a 70,000. It's a large stadium,
Yeah.
but you're right. They get about a couple thousand people that come out and support them. But if you're there for a Yale Harvard game, that's a great experience in college football. Your favorite, let's say, besides swimming, okay, because we know you're biased, your favorite Penn State sport?
Oh, I mean, there's something magical about Penn State football. And, I want to give other sports some love because it is such a big football school, but there's just nothing like Beaver Stadium. And I've watched the games from all over the country, and there is so much pride when you watch, and those whiteouts, and I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I think I'm tired, so bear with me. But I just remember a couple years ago, even hearing Kirk Herbstreit, who we all know is Ohio State grad, being at Beaver Stadium and saying, "This is the greatest experience in college sports." And it's a lot of pride. We've been through so much. I think that's why I get so emotional, and especially the football program. It was really heartbreaking, I think, for all of us to experience. And so, but I just love that it lives on, and we still come out on top. So I think that's why I get emotional, because it's really hard to go through. It was traumatic for all of us.
Absolutely. And Kirk Herbstreit gets it right every once in a while. So we'll give credit where credit's due. It is the best experience in college football, the Penn State whiteout. All right, you mentioned you're from Cincinnati. So Graders or the Creamery?
Oh, the Creamery, for sure. Yeah,
And how about your
that's a
favorite?
big statement.
Yeah, it's a huge statement. I mean, Graders is a Cincinnati staple. And so that's saying something about Creamery ice cream. How about your favorite flavor of Creamery ice cream?
I love the Paterno peach. Do they still do that?
They do. Peachy
Yeah,
Paterno.
yeah. I call it the Paterno peach.
That is great. Well, if you are interested in getting more information about Kate, that information is in the chat here in Zoom, or it's in the comments out on Facebook Live. Kate, you've been a delightful guest. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And I want to thank everyone else who have tuned in to watch a coffee hour. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're a member of the Alumni Association, thank you so much for your support. If you're not a member, by now you know what to do. Go to our website at alumni.psu.edu, and you too can become a member of the world's largest alumni association. Thank you for all you do for the university, for the glory, and for the future. We are
Penn State.